What's happening, budget builder, and welcome back to the channel. Well, today, of course, let's jump back into this Porsche, continue doing some more stuff to bring this thing back to life. One thing I want to start with is bringing some life back into this rusty, crusty door. I really hope we can do so because that's a big expense. I'm afraid the driver's door is going to be too far gone, but I think we can do something with this door, especially because my bud Chris Parkinson brought us this door. Now the whole thing is crinkled on this end, but obviously this gives us a lot of components and parts and sheet metal that we need to bring that door back to life. He also brought down his 911. I think I had put a post in the community section. What a wild ride. That's a 450 rear wheel horsepower 4G63 swapped car. And I know it's goes against the purist, but my goodness, he brought that car back to life, put a top back on it and everything, was able to swap that motor and restored it. And that is a wild car. That was the fastest thing I've ever ridden in and got to drive. And huge shout out to him. Be sure to go check out his channel. I'll put a link to his channel right here. Go check him out. Show him some love. Give him a subscribe. I think you'll enjoy some of the stuff that he does. It's super cool. But let's go ahead and start with this door. What I'm going to do is pull our door back off of the car. Let's get everything out of it. I don't know. I either want to use the skin off of some of the skin off of our door to repair this door, or cut the pieces we need to put on that door. I'm going to kind of eyeball everything, look at it, and then we'll make a decision and start cutting her up. Alright, so first thing, Dad and I are going to go ahead and strip this door out. Before we decide anything, that at least needs to happen. So we're going to go ahead and get the windows and everything out of it and all our components and everything, so we can really, and then maybe clean it up some so we can really further see what we have going on here. Alright, let's try that first. Alright, so what he's saying first is going to go ahead and take the regulator assembly off, and then you've got two larger holes, and we're going to try to rock the whole regulator assembly forward and so it'll drop out. Some people pry them out of the actual track there, but you take a chance of chipping your window and stuff, and you know it's easy enough. This sucker's still really stuck here. I've had issues when I take them out in the past on some of my other cars. Well, especially my Rabbits. Even putting it back down there with the factory glue and stuff, they'll come right back loose without that factory adhesive. And so I'd like to be able to just get the whole assembly with the track out and everything, so we don't have to worry about taking everything apart. So let's go ahead and do that.
I'm not sure if you can hold it all through.
Yeah, just look at that. Easy enough. Alright, so future reference. You saw how easy that was, and the few videos that I watched were showing prying out and stuff, so definitely consider doing it the way that we just did it if you don't want to get it out of the track and have to re-glue it and everything. Y'all probably know that if you're Porsche guys, but we didn't, now we do. Alright, so to begin with, I'm going to go ahead and start cutting out all the ugly off of this door. I'd like to try to use that other door, but the whole hinge, where the hinges are and the actual structural part of the door is so crunched up and bent, there's just no way we can do anything with it. So let's go ahead and start. Right now I'm going to cut the top layer, and then we'll flip the door and cut the inside. Easy peasy. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking this is a whole lot of fun. Nope. Beautiful. Now we just got to match that up to that. So the issue I'm having here is, I don't know if you can tell, there are you can see that pretty original green right there. There are 7 layers of crappy paint and primer on top of this stuff. And look, they didn't even sand when they painted on the original paint. And it doesn't look like they sand. I mean, this stuff is junk. So I'm gonna have to at least scrape it down so we can get a good weld in, and then we're gonna have to strip completely everything once we get the whole door together. Whew! All right, still a lot of massaging to do, especially on the back side, but this is why you cut it up and then you let your dad do the measuring and everything and cut the other side. But it's really dang close. And so what I want to go ahead and do is clean this metal up on this side, and then obviously I want to be really careful not to warp anything on this side, so we don't want to get a ton of heat in it. But we're just going to start one little spot at a time, tacking this door, this piece of pan on, and then we can flip it and go ahead and massage the inside. We want to get this nice and flat, and we'll start massaging everything and getting it just where it needs to be, and then we can put in our filler pieces of metal as we need to and stuff. Obviously this was all crunched up on this door, but I'm really pleased with how well that actually came out. And obviously it's going to go together, and I think it'll look pretty good. There'll be a lot of body work that needs to happen here. We are going to have to get all the paint off of this door, which kind of sucks, but we need to figure it out on this door because we got to do it on the whole body. But yeah, so I really want a nice outcome with the paint job on this car. Originally I was going to leave it kind of ratty and stuff, and you guys really want to see a nice paint job, and I want to give y'all what y'all want to see. And so we do want to put a nice paint job. I'd like to go back with that original paint on the car, and I think it'll look really nice. So let's go ahead and clean. I'm going to clean this up really quick, and then I'm going to pull the welder out, and we'll go ahead and get a couple tacks in it, flip it, and see about getting the inside straightened out. All right. Now obviously it's just sitting up there and it's, you know, pushed in and everything, But check that gap out. I am super pleased with it all the way around. Obviously still need to fill in down here. And I've got a little bit of a dip, but we're going to have to get this whole door sanded down and then see if we can get that pulled back to where it needs to be and massage it a little bit. But I'm really happy with how the bottom of that door turned out. Now I did notice these newer doors are a little different. So this has an extra little lip, and this is a little longer. The door itself is the same, other than right here. But with the door panel, I think we're just going to do like a racing style, just a plain aluminum door panel or carbon fiber or something with just the cap on it. So we won't have to worry about anything in there. So I think we'll be good in there. Structurally, she's a solid door now, and I am really happy with how that turned out. Tell me what y'all think. Alright, well there it is, a complete rust-free door. I'm really happy with how everything came out. Everything looks really straight. Obviously it's not going to be perfect on the inside as far as the main base right here, but the door panel is going to cover that up. Everything else, I've got a little bit more fill work to do, and obviously a lot of body work that we're going to have to do, but we'll wait to do that until we start moving on into doing the body work on the rest of the car. So tell me what you guys think. I'm really happy with how it came out. You know, that saved us every bit. We have a rust-free door, and they're $500, $600, $700, $800 online, so that saved us a good bit of money. Now it did take us every bit of probably 7 to 8 hours, I think, between cutting it out and cleaning it up and everything. It was quite a bit of a headache, but that's what you got to do sometimes when you want to try to save a little dough, and that's what we were able to do, and we've got a door now. Alright, one thing that we wanted to address, or that I'd like to address, is it'd be nice to be able to steer this car. When you push it back and forth, this thing just, the wheels go one way or the other. And so as you can see, it's supposed to, before I wrap everything up, I wanted to get one of these little boots, and thanks to Chris, he sent us over a nice one. You see someone cut this thing up at some point in time. It's all hacked around and stuff, but now we've got a nice new one to slide on here. And so we'll go ahead and slip this down, and this just goes over your yep, sure. Okay, nice and easy. So that just goes right down to your rack there. And then once we get that, maybe not. Once we get that on, well, let's put our bushing back in, which is actually your bushing bearing. It's nice and greased up and looks really good. I'm going to throw a little bit more grease down in there just so we know it's good, but the bearing looks really good shape and everything, and so does the bushing, so I'm pretty happy there with it. Alright, now that we got that bearing cleaned up and greased up, we can go ahead and slide it back down on the shaft here. And it just fits right down in that grommet. Boot. Hobby-fluber. And before we put the cap back on it, let's go ahead and get this back down in its position. And it just lines up. You've got a flat right here. So you got a little flat right there, and you just want a line where the bolt goes back up right with that. So the bolt will drop through, and then we'll go ahead and snug everything down. Alright, as you can see, we got it back down where it needed to be. And then we are going to go ahead and snug and dent. Snug this guy back up. Now that we have that on, we can go ahead and put the bearing, little race back on here. I did go ahead and clean all our bolts up, our hardware here. Now we steer this thing again. So we're kind of at that stage right now where I'm starting to fit different things and try new parts and stuff, because we really want to kind of figure out what way we want this car to take shape. And one thing that I want to kind of get an idea of and test out is the possibility of potentially going a little wider in the rear here. Not crazy, nothing stupid, nothing goofy. You know, just a good looking little hip back here, just to go along with the flow and the lines of the car. Or do we want to, I'm going to try to pull this rear wheel off, put it in the back, see how it fits, and then we might consider ordering new front wheels to match the front. And then that gives us, obviously that's the cheaper route, because I have been looking for like factory style wheels and they're just ridiculous. People want so much money for them. And I'd love to be able to purchase that for this car, but I just cannot consider that. And so we need to decide if we're going to use the, you know, it would cost, I think it's like $2,000 for wheels or better that need to be refinished, or for $300 to $400 a piece or less, I can get rear quarters, real metal rear quarters that we can put in this car. They're already crunched up. They're good shape other than being dented. There's no rust or anything, but there's just a lot of work that needs to be done there, and it may be easier for us to consider putting a little bit wider hips here to go along with the lines of those wheels. And then also that would look better with that rear wing on the car. Especially seeing Chris's car, it looked really good with some hips. But for the time being, I want to check this car out and kind of get an idea of how it looks with that wheel in the rear. So let's jack it up really quick and swap those wheels out. Alright, so as you can see, even with this wheel in the rear, it's just sticking out so far. And honestly, I could put some aftermarkets on this car. You know, I think it's a nice narrow body car, but I think it would look good with just some slight hips. I've already got, let me show you really quick. We do already have some, I believe these are Carrera filler panels. And with those up there, you can see the difference. And that, with this wheel setup, I think would look pretty good. You can see that depth looks really nice. And that would obviously, that's only giving it another half an inch maybe, and it'd have a nice tuck, and then we don't have to worry about attempting to, this side's just got one little ding, that whole other side's just crunched all to get out. And these are pretty simple quarters to replace, and I think it would look really nice. So tell me what y'all think. I think that's something to consider on this car. I think it'd look pretty good. Maybe we go a little bit wider and actually keep that rear wheel. But just give me an idea of what y'all think. You know, I don't want anything goofy. I want it to be a nice, presentable, classy looking car, but I think some hips still make it look good. Oh yeah, and sorry for talking so much and asking so many questions in this video. This is just kind of my feeler video to get a better idea of where we want to go from this route. Get y'all's input. What you think of that original paint color? It's scuffed up obviously because I've been scratching it, but is that not a pretty freaking cool color? I think that'll look awesome on this car. What do y'all think? Alright, so to begin with this video, I was going to start with showing working on this door, and I think we've probably spent about 4 hours on it already, and it's nowhere close to being done, and so I don't think it's going to be in this video, We're still working on trying to make it work. So what I kind of want to start with on this video, I get asked a lot, and understandably, I want you guys to be a part of this and let you all know. But I kind of want to take a few minutes really quick to kind of go over where we are cost-wise on this car, especially at this point with what we've done, and kind of give you an idea of what we've put into this car so far, you know, kind of the parts we've been given, and so where we're at with everything. And I really want to give you guys a good idea of what you can expect when doing a car like this. Alright, so it's time to get our handy dandy notepad. So obviously our original cost into the car was $500, what we paid for it. And then we ordered the full set of floor pans, and that cost us about $700. The wheels and tires we paid $550 for. Those rear trailing arms that were destroyed, we ended up paying $5 for the set of those. The rear wheel bearings we paid $50 for. The hood and our fenders, after shipping and all, we paid $595. The engine seal kit we paid $148 for. We got bumper shocks all the way around, the bumper shock bushings all the way around, and that cost $40. The front latch cover, that little cover that goes over the front latch panel there, that was $65 for a nice one. The hood seal was $55. The windshield seal was $37. Those little tensioner guards were $26. The brake master cylinder was $80, and shocks all the way around the car were $96. Now obviously there's still a lot more that has to go into the car, but realistically for what I feel like is a fairly solid little car, you know, obviously there was maybe another $100 to $200 in miscellaneous stuff at that point, but I feel like for I don't think you could buy this car from somewhere else necessarily for that kind of money. I feel like maybe, I don't know. I'm really pleased with it. I'm happy with what we've put into it so far. Like I said, I never could have thought in a million years I would own a Porsche 911, and to have it and to slowly have put the money that we have into it, you know, it's very obtainable. I feel like, you know, if you can find one, you know, obviously it was odd for me to find one, but I've talked to other people and they found similar cars for similar money at certain points of times. It's just kind of one of those things, you just keep your eyes out and you ask around, and there's a certain point you find one, and you might spend a little less, a little bit more, but you might have a little more car than we did. But like I said, so far I'm really pleased with what we have in it. So altogether, pretty much where we're at now, we're right around $3,500 with what we have into the car. And obviously with doing the videos and everything before I quit to do this full time, we were doing really well. And a lot of that's been that you guys watching and supporting us and sending us parts and everything has really helped to build the car to where it is now, and we really do appreciate it. I really do enjoy the whole process of bringing these cars back to life, especially this car. Getting to go for a ride in Chris's and seeing it and being around that car and him and everything, it was so much fun. It was so enjoyable, and I am so stinking ready to get this car pushed further along. Alright y'all, well that's going to wrap it up for this video. Hope you enjoyed. This is kind of a little midpoint video. Doing a little bit of work on, a good bit of work on this door. Bringing it back to life. It was a rusted out old door, but I think it looks really good, and let me know what y'all think. Sorry we did so much talking. Kind of wanted to give you an idea of where we're at with the car, what we've put into it so far, and what we're looking at here in the near future. We do have a lot coming up. Tell me what y'all think about everything that I was talking about with the car. I think it'll look really good either way, especially with that green on it. Hope y'all are having a good weekend. Peace out, and catch y'all on the flip side. Hey, really quick, check out these couple clips from when Chris came to visit.